It started with my cousin, and basically, like I said, like I was under the impression they all like swarmed in. Every single person when my grandparents passed, they all swarmed in because they thought I was getting something. It was like sharks in the water. It was in the water, the smell, and they all came in. Like I said, my aunt, like it was like boom, like they boom, 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 like they had every single like end covered. Like my dad freaked out. My aunt flew in. Never seen my aunt before. My aunt never even so much as called me. They all were under the guise of how they wanted to reconnect with me. People that never connected with me whatsoever. Like I said, they didn't even come to my graduation. All of them had invites, with the exception of my Aunt Claudia. When I was younger, she had told my dad something about me, and I was like maybe like what, 13, 14, and she tells him that I'm having sex. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, okay, but this is the thing, like that's not your place. You don't really know me, and how do you know that? What are you talking about? And then he comes and like embarrassed me, so I got mad at her and I took like all her stuff. I took a bunch of her stuff home, and she called me up and told me she was gonna press charges on me if I didn't send all that stuff back. Which I was sorry about it, but she never really talked to me like after that, or like even like bothered with me. She was very, very cold about it. And I get it. Okay, yeah, I did something wrong. Yeah, and at that time I didn't care about stuff. Like I said, when we know better, we do better. You live, you learn, you change. You're not always who you need to be, so that's why you can grow. And that's why I'm very respectful of people's ability to change and for growth. And I do give people the opportunity to change, and that's something that doesn't always get looked at. It just gets looked at like the final cutoff. Like, no, you had every opportunity to change. Trust me, I've given you every opportunity. If it's come to the point where you got cut off, you've already had numerous offenses to where you need to be cut off for my peace, because you're draining me. And basically, whether it's intentional or unintentional, it's got to go. It's not working for me. It's not okay. Um, yeah, they all, like I said, they all swarmed in. My dad called me up, my grandma called me up, and they all asked if I wanted to sue. They wanted to know. They wanted to know if I wanted to, and I said no, because I was broken. I was broken, and I really thought that maybe I had the inclination that they were gonna do what they did. Not exactly how it played out, because I just know that they're all for money, and that's all they think about. Like even when my grandfather was sick, my aunt on my grandfather's side, they could never be bothered. They couldn't be bothered. Robert was always doing something. He had to do this, he had to do that. I'm doing like a million things a day. Yeah, he just couldn't be bothered. He just didn't care about anything but himself. But when, the will was mentioned and that, they all swarmed in. Everybody did. Everybody that you couldn't find ever or had so many things to do, they suddenly had nothing to do at the mention of a will. Yeah, so I didn't want that. I was like, no, because I was mad. I was mad and I was grieving. And I was like, whatever, let them do whatever they do with that. Like, whatever turns out, money's not. Trust me, I could have used it. I could have used it. Maybe I wouldn't have been in a car for a year. But you know what? It toughened me up. So whatever. So whatever. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Because whatever they took too, they all like. I'm pretty sure it'll go, right? Like I think my mom got teeth. I heard, and somebody said that she got all blisters. Can't wear them. Isn't that funny? And let's see, my uncle got like tried to put a down payment on a house or something, and there was like so many problems with it, whatever, and God knows if it's like it's probably got a portal in it right now, right? So anyhow, my cousin started destiny swapping with me when I was like connecting with her when all this happened. Like they already started like I said, grooming me. They sent everybody in from every angle. My Aunt Claudia flew in Newark Airport. She's like, oh, I'm here on a flight. I'm pretty sure you're here in Newark Airport on a flight, regardless of where you live all the time. You're a pilot. But why is this the first time I'm seeing you? She called and gave me sympathy. I was so heartbroken. She called right after the organ donors did. And I flipped on them, and she called right after. And I was in that state. Like, you're sitting there hurting, and people are like, I was like, no, don't take anything of it. hands. I don't want you to take anything of his. Don't you dare. Yeah, so that was a lot, man, with her. Like, and the poor kid was so messed up, I guess, and hurt. And I'm sorry that you were, man. I really am, but what you did to me wasn't okay. You can't take my destiny. You can't swap with somebody. She started like doing crazy stuff. Like, even when I was going through stuff, like I went, like, you could feel energy when somebody's got something attached to them, especially if you're sensitive to energy. You could smell it sometimes and you could feel it. Like sometimes it smells really, really bad, like an elephant enclosure. And usually that means that there's something on somebody. I've smelled it around like certain people, and you could tell. You could just tell. There's certain things, and like I said, I pick up energy. So when she came up to visit me, my cousin, and you could feel that energy on me and on her, and it started like after I moved out to there, that same energy that I felt started like sticking to me. And in the meantime, she was just like learning everything about me, and I thought it was so cute at first. I said, oh, that's so sweet. I said, oh, I said, I sent her bracelets, I sent her gifts and stuff, because I was like, oh, I was like, you know, I was like, that's so sweet. And I didn't have a relationship with my my own sister, because she wanted to go in the corner and be salty every time I tried. But whatever with her too. Yeah, so I needed somebody, and that's when they all came in with that grimy stuff. And yeah, so she started saving. Like, I send sometimes, like, I get lazy from typing, or there's a lot that I have to say and I know people don't want to read it. But now this makes me kind of skeptical of this, because I started sending her voice messages here and there, and she saved every single one of them. Every single one of them. And even when I was like, I had lost my job at one point in time at the gym, and I was going through it because rent was coming up, everything, and I had already made the decision because things were getting crazy and escalating, and I had realized what was going on, but I didn't tell anybody. I just played along because that gives me more time to think. So she went upon herself and decided what she was gonna do, and she did it herself and asked people for money on my behalf to pay for an apartment that I decided I was no longer gonna stay in. So I decided to leave. So I did, because basically what she was doing was she was using the heck out of me. She was having me keep her place while she was living somewhere else, getting everything paid, her whole way paid. She was going to school, she was going to this and that, and then she was showing me like schedules and stuff. While I'm working all these extra hours that are 2 jobs, 6 days a week. I would go to work at like 7 o'clock. I would open the place. This one place, I was working at the diner in Lincoln from 7 to about 3, and then from 4 to I think 10 or whatever, I would go to the gym and work at the gym, until I realized that that place wasn't working out. So I was promised full-time shift at the gym, but that lady was just full of it. It was like one of those carrots dangling, and they were like messing with me back and forth, and that place was like ugh, just ugh. But anyhow, it ended up to where I lost my job, right? And it was so hard to find a job. Like, just like in those text messages you see with my aunt, it was so hard to find a job. And she knows people around there. I was basically holding her space because her boyfriend lives in that state. And she wanted me to pay her way while she goes to school and doesn't work. But she was saying that she has to take care of the bills and pay for my grandma and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, they all got to pay out when my aunt passed. They all liquidated her assets and probably did what they did to me. Like, when my grandma called me up and was like, hey, can I get your social security number? And this was when I was under the impression that she cared. I was like, oh, she wants to change and she wants to love me now, and I need this now. So yeah, let's go for it. And I was just like, oh man. I was like, okay, yeah, let's go for it. No, that is not how it happened.